2, 1, action, Jonesy, go.
All right, so
Go ahead, Montani.
first of all, today is National Oreo Day, so I brought some Oreos for everybody.
Thank you,
There you
sir.
go.
Deal.
Yep. All right, so this is mainly just a kind of a review for Dreamcatcher operators, kind of review for those who have experience and people who are new to the sport of softball and baseball. So I know we'll have a few, at least here in Charlotte, that'll be new to the sport as we go along. So basically, I'm going to cover pretty much most of the softball, and Jonesy and Skull will cover baseball. But just to review real quick, and softball and baseball are pretty similar as far as camera positions, but for the most part, standard camera positions. You have a low third camera, you have a high home camera, you have a high first camera, you have a low first camera, and a center field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, and for those of us here, we can just go through. I mean, the basic assignments, you know, are there. They don't change. They're pretty much standard for baseball when you have standard configuration like this. But you know, camera 1 obviously has batters, pitchers, lead runners, trail runners, you know, depending on the situation. So it's just a brief overview for that. Camera 2 is your high home camera, your main ball foul camera. Sets the defense for a wide shot of the infield. It also sets the bases when the bases are loaded. Can get a tight shot of the pitcher in between pitches. Bless you. Excuse me. So the basic assignment for camera 2. Camera 3 is high first camera usually, or at least in the standard configuration, and it's your primary, you know, shag ball follow, looking for a little tighter look of the offense, so to speak, where the ball is going. You know, outfielder, infielder making the play, and then the throw to, you know, for the out. It can also help you with for pickoffs at first base, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But in baseball, it comes in more into play in baseball. It's also you know, can be used for a wide shot for big graphics, third base coach, dugout shots here, and it can get has a really good look all around the field usually for heroes after defensive plays, and then you know, also after outs. Camera 4 is the center field camera. It's your main pitcher, batter, catcher shot. We'll take a throw down to second. Generally, and it's you know, like a director-producer preference. It can either go with the ball or follow the runner on a hit. On an out, follow, you know, batter back to the dugout. It also can provide you a good look into the first base dugout, depending on the location of that camera. So then, camera 5 is low first. Kind of mirrors what camera 1 does, except it's going to shoot right-handed batters, left-handed pitchers. If there's no runners, it can help you with shagging the side of the infield, looking for a good defensive plays. We'll have the lead runner or the runner at first, depending on the runner situation. Scores, and that's a kind of again. A director-producer preference, but it can score all runs, or it can switch off depending on whether, you know, depending on the outs and whether you have a tag box situation. But it's also game by game. So there could be different camera complements depending on, you know, especially in softball. Maybe not so much in baseball, but in softball, with a lot of these softball fields, you could run up against, you know, a field that does not have a position for high first. So you'd have a high third camera instead. That happens in baseball occasionally, but and Mark will go into that. You may have a left field line camera instead of a high first or high third. You could have a right field line camera instead of a high first or high third. And in some circumstances, you may have to use a tight center because there's nothing else available at the specific ballpark you're at. And that does come into play sometimes. Just some basic differences between softball and baseball, and these are just really treetop stuff. You know, runners basically cannot lead off. They can leave the base when the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. Runners do attempt to steal, but it really makes it a little bit more difficult. Catchers, though, can and will either throw to second for a pickoff, or they'll throw a lot of times behind the batter, especially when you have a runner at first, to try to pick the runner off after they've taken a lead and may have not gone for the steal. So, one of the other rules that's important, especially with slap hitters in softball, is that the hitter cannot make contact with the ball if they're out of the box. So if they step out of the batter's box and make contact, they're out. And the other big rule in softball is that fielders cannot block the base path waiting for a ball if a runner's attempting to go into that base. And we'll show an example of that later. But that's a pretty important rule. They can't, especially a catcher waiting for a throw. The catcher cannot be in the base path waiting for the throw. Basically has to give the runner access and then move in to get the throw.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was a new rule last year that was just implemented.
Yeah.
And it happened a good amount where the catcher just stands there waiting for the ball. They cannot be in the third base path or any path. So that's a new rule that happened, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, actually happened twice in that St. Petersburg Classic, 2 games in a row, a couple weekends ago. So it's pretty much the high points. Anybody have anything to add, or anybody?
Question. I know, and you might address this later. Are there any other rule changes? I know the slap hitter rule, I think that was new to last year.
It was last year, yeah.
There was one about the pitchers staying on the ground.
Yeah, that's another one. Good point. That's a rule I think that's been there for a while. When the pitcher pitches in softball, her foot is not supposed to leave the ground after she leaves the rubber.
Right.
And that's one of those rules that is not always enforced. But that is something to keep in mind if you're on camera 4 or 1 or 5 is ISOing the pitcher. If her foot leaves the ground, then they don't have balks in softball.
Right.
But the runner gets on base. That's another good point to keep in mind. If they call that, the coaches probably will be upset because they don't call it.
It's a illegal pitch, and it was a real point of emphasis about 2 or 3 years ago, but they've kind of backed off on it. Plus,
Right.
pitchers have adjusted too.
Right.
So you could fake pitch? They don't have balks?
No, this is an illegal pitch, as they call it. It's technically not a balk in women's softball. That's what they call it, because there's nobody. They're not in the stretch if someone is on base.
Right.
So technically, it's not a balk because of that, but there is an illegal pitch that they can have. I think it's just splitting the hairs in rules a little bit, or terminology.
Gotcha.
All right, so I've got a few softball related. Let me get to mine. What did you say it was? Alt tab?
Oh, tab alt. There you go. Oh.
Yeah, that's not what I was looking for. All right, I'll go back here. So,
I think it's other than a little bit.
here we go. All right, so we'll start with this one right here.
Now, if you hit tab alt and go back, it'll
I have to
work.
apologize, my computer is.
Or alt tab, sorry.
So basically, this would be a strikeout. Maybe want to turn the volume up a little bit. This would be a strikeout sequence for replays.
This is for ball 1. Aaron Peterson behind the plate. Ron Burkhardt, Chris Neighbors, our umpiring crew. Nancy with a 3-hit night raises her NCAA
Now this would be
to 7 of 12.
This would be a leadoff home run. My mistake. Sorry. Can't read this chicken scratch.
This is hit well to right center field. The second pitch of the game is single. The 2, Nancy, Washington on top.
What a way to start the game if you're Taylor Van Zee. See a pitch, drive it as her parents look on there, and drive it right over that fence. Talk about seeing a pitch early on in the game. This pitch up in the zone, belt high. fires it up and drives it. No question about it. That ball over the fence puts Washington ahead 1.
There are different ways for Taylor Van Zee to be a catalyst for this Washington team. We've seen it vocally, we've seen it emotionally, and now we've seen it with the bat to start things off with a home run. And the first pitch.
All right, so so you saw there was 2 looks at the swing. It was the center field look at the swing. There was a camera 1 look at the swing, head to toe, and then there was a it was a shag look. Then we went back and showed a shag look from. We did not have a high first or high third at this particular venue. We had to go with a right field camera. So then the right field camera was really emulating what the high first camera would have done. So Billy, anything cue points there? I think that we saw the pitcher's motion. Batter was a good cue point for the pitch coming in the batter set, full swing.
Yeah, all that was good. It would just be like the only thing that possibly could have missed was normally when the girl sees the ball go over the fence, the reaction is pretty good, and that might have happened right after you cut off of that replay.
Right.
And that's something that, to me, like talking to Tate, hey, just get in the director's ear, go straight to the director with, hey, stay for this.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
Gotcha. Yep. So
Although the pitches were pretty tight.
Yeah, they were tight though. He almost missed both pitches. I mean, when he came back out of the
Yeah.
replay, she was almost in her motion.
right.
I would almost say the replay crossing the plate because of the way it was shot,
Right.
from the ankle,
Mhm.
that you didn't really see a lot of the emotion. You might have been better off replaying reaction around the base paths than you would have.
Right, just a reaction.
Potentially.
Sure, right. But just from a cue point of view.
Correct.
We're just trying to,
Right.
again, for people who are new to this sport.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, all right, so,
Yeah, my point is just sometimes if we didn't get to that react, you may still sell that react if we're going around the
Absolutely.
bases.
right.
I definitely try to influence. If you have them, sell them all. Whether it be 3, and then we'll let producer and director sort it out which one's best.
Yeah.
This computer's taking a long
Count,
time.
a favorable count to see a good pitch here. She has to see it and connect.
Ball strike 3. Hemphill caught looking to end the first. Dykes caught looking to start the second. 1 down.
And that's certainly not the way that you want to step in offensively. You get a 3-2 count. A pitcher like Alvello, yeah, she's throwing some balls, but she does have command. Everybody knows this. If you do a scouting report on Alvello, she's going to bring that pitch in when she wants. A beautiful pitch on that corner and too close.
Fly ball to left field. Reaching up and grabbing it is Julia DuPont. Schroeder is retired. 2 down.
So that's just basically a simple strikeout. Best angle to show that pitch from was camera 4, and cue point again was so you see the pitcher's motion, which she has kind of an interesting motion, and you want to try to set that up so they can see that. But yeah, that was just a simple strikeout. Let's see here. Let's go through here. This would be, let's take a look at this one real quick here.
Out her third, 1 down. One thing Washington's pitching has done very well, they have taken Bailey Hemphill out of the equation for Alabama.
Yeah, that outside pitch on Hemphill, she's not seeing it as well as she normally could. Keeps it low in the zone, outside. And as long as that happens, Hemphill is
So that was just basically an in-game package. This, they really had this player from Alabama. They really had her number, pitch-wise. But it's a, any comments, questions, anything, Billy? Scott?
Nice and tight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing
It's,
how fast they pitch in softball.
Any song?
Yeah. Just a story going in and developed over a couple of days, it looked like.
So, but that's just a good example of putting an in-game package together. This one's kind of an interesting, I thought it was pretty interesting. But it's a little, kind of shows you an error here in the outfield.
A few more in.
Miscommunication.
Stairways and concourses. High fly ball to left off the bat of Thomas. Shortstop and left fielder miscommunicating. Force play at second base in time. DuPont had to hold.
That's a
Ball
pause, that,
bounced
Jeff.
away, but there was enough time for Alabama to get the force.
So when we're looking at this, right, what's important here? Is the pitch important? Probably not, right?
No.
So you just need to go really to the
So you probably
muff
want
in the
to
outfield.
see the shag first.
Yeah,
Right.
the shag, and
Yeah.
then, I mean, if that right field camera has it the whole way,
And then you see the play at second.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the
then you gotta
play.
slow it down to the play at second. It's
Yeah.
tight.
So,
And the
okay.
base runner, because they threw her in the base runner, because the base runner obviously didn't get a great jump. If there's
Right.
still a force out at second.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff going on in that play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So here we go.
Number 2.
You can tell as this ball hung in the air, Booker going back, Schroeder not communicating well. Schroeder
hit her in the
goes for the catch, does not get it in her glove. Not
Didn't slide
much
either.
hurt as DuPont really stuck in the middle of first and second
That got
base,
pretty
trying
tight.
to decide
Yeah.
if Schroeder's going to catch this or not. When she does, they make a quick play out at second base.
What?
It's pretty close.
Yeah,
Good save there, but
a little slower at second, maybe.
A little looser for the right field camera. Should
Yeah.
have a little looser. Yeah.
Yeah, you could, you know, if you're loose enough, you can almost see when that runner got the jump. Really, unless a low third wouldn't have it. Maybe, yeah, nothing really would have had the runner on the jump there.
Well, camera 1 would have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Camera 1 would have had
That
the
way,
runner.
would you see the ball?
No, you wouldn't see the ball, but you see the runner going halfway, waiting for the catch or waiting for the drop.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
would have gone half.
And depending on the position in the stadium too, sometimes you can include the pitcher on that so that you can see.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends whether you're blocked or, where the cameras are. In softball, it's kind of a hit or miss thing. So,
What Scott said is perfect, though. You gotta think about the situation and what it is that you actually are looking for. And I think that's the hardest part
Yeah.
to do, especially for a sport that you don't know, if you don't know it. But to figure out those situational things.
and also, and so really, when you're the lead, red, blue, or what, silver, gold, or whatever we're calling it, disc and whatever, helping to sell, being the eyes and ears back there, can help a lot too. Like Sco said, in that situation, the pitch is meaningless, so there's no real reason to show that. It's mainly the play, the miss, miscommunication, and then, the run coming into second. So, all right. Let's see. Alt tab. This 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Out to retire the side, but one more run for Washington. Heather Tarr, the Washington coach, will talk to us when we come back. And we will ask her about putting Noelle He into the lineup. It's paid off for Washington on top 3-0.
Yeah, so basically that was just, the big story in that inning was a home run. And Washington switched their lineup around, and actually the player that hit the home run there was batting in a different order, different position than she usually bats in. So that was just a rollout. Obviously they have coach interview and paid off the coach going to break, but then they rolled out with that. And I don't know what Billy or Sco, your opinion of just the shots that were used and the cue points on that, but it just
Yeah, nice and tight.
it
Looked
just seemed like
yeah.
told the story.
Is anybody opposed to not seeing home runs? And I know it's an assumption. The ball goes over the fence. The player is going to cross the plate. if the reacts of them coming around first and 2 looks at the swing could that be good enough?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to not showing them, as opposed to showing them go across the plate, something that's already assumed. 2 looks at the swing, ball goes over, and then you see him coming around first.
Even more
That still
like the
works.
swing and the most like to me, the reactions are the best thing.
Right.
Best thing to
Yeah.
show.
As opposed to okay.
I think when it's, if we're doing a game in 2 weeks and it's a Tuesday game, you may not need to show them crossing home plate, but when you're super regional like that and they're gathered around home plate making that little view coming in,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you want it.
Right. Okay.
And you'll get a lot more, I mean, technically, or you're going to get more of that in softball.
Yes.
I mean, they'll come out, and it's not that they don't do it in baseball, but there's
There's a lot more
a lot
animation in
more-
softball.
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, they're a lot more animated in softball. So, let's see. Okay, let's look at. This was kind of an interesting. This is the interference that we were talking about.
Adjust as the season goes on.
First pitch, slap ball towards the middle, going to center for a base hit. Around third, goes Urias to third. Not outside. And they win. It's a walk-off for Cal. And a one put back tonight.
That's a play at the plate. That's going to be that obstruction call. And that's something that's been implemented in the last couple years in our game, is that catcher cannot block the path to home plate from the base runner until they have the ball in their glove. And the umpire made the call automatically and immediately. And that's something that is relevant in our game. So you see right here, she's coming through and she's going to step into her left just a little bit. And right there, she's blocking the plate, so it's not going to allow the runner to go. And immediately,
Tough, man. The ball is there.
Calls
That's
that
tough.
obstruction.
I don't like that.
And I think that's a
She's
huge
clearly in
advantage
the
for
way.
Cal, and I think that's why you send
Yeah,
those
but the ball
runners
be
to
there.
second base on that
Did
slow
she
roll
need to
over the
move
middle
in?
every
Did she
single
move-
time.
need to
There's
move there?
really nothing.
She can't be there till she has the ball in her glove.
Yeah.
She's
So-
also gotta go catch the ball.
What?
I agree. See,
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
remember
Yeah.
that was when we were discussing this a couple of years ago. That's exactly what I said. What if the ball is thrown in the path? Then you got to wait till the ball gets there. You can't anticipate the ball getting there in the path of the runner. Yeah, that's questionable to me. Not only me, a lot of other people, but that is the rule.
Well, it's also with this particular instance, and I got this from Joe Taylor. So I sent him an email to see if he had, could remember an interesting. And this was, this was to win the game.
Right, yeah.
So that added.
They didn't really argue.
No, well, they didn't argue it. Umpires walked off, and so it was pretty clear cut. But yeah, so in that again, you're really dependent upon your camera operators at that point, making sure they stay on point. I mean, obviously the best look there was camera 2, your high home. They had it all the way, and he was wide enough so that you could see the catcher as the ball came in. The catcher moving over I think I can't vouch for what the high first camera had. What the shag camera was doing. They didn't use it in a replay, so obviously it didn't.
2 was enough.
Didn't tell a story. And then camera 5, the base runner camera had probably could have come out, probably widened out a little bit more. But I think the cue points were all really good there. It documented the end of the game and the catcher interference.
Key there is knowing the rules, and that's incumbent on all of us, but tape ops, camera operators,
Exactly.
producer, director, everybody should make it a point to at least try to know the rules, and that's a tough one. That's one. Yeah. And
That's
then-
one where the tape op, as you said, hey, I've got the interference on A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just knowing the rules.
Well, and it was good too that in this instance the high home camera stayed out wide enough and really you
I
really
think they did a great job pulling back.
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
right when you notice it.
and also he did a good job, he or she did a good job of waiting. The umpire was very deliberate there. I mean, you knew what the umpire was calling. I mean, if you knew the rule, which everybody should should be familiar with, but you could see the umpire point to the catcher and wave,
Yeah.
so run scored. So you knew right there, which was a big help.
Analyst was on it too.
And the analyst was right on it, yeah. Shoot, that's the first thing out of her mouth. And
It's not
that's,
like when analysts say our game. It's just my first one. It's our game. Why is it your game? Why is it our game?
Shit.
The game. I mean, she's sharing it. She didn't say my game. But.
so I think that pretty much does it for softball. Just kind of give you an idea. Different cue points, pitches, swings, and the things that are important obviously, but the interference. So now we'll transition into baseball.
You can call it my little email.
Let me, do you want to see you want your PowerPoint first?
Yeah, briefly.
Okay. Let me get rid of that. And get rid of that. So, comes.
And I'll just take your mouse and run it from here. Thanks. All right, guys, very similar from baseball to softball, not many changes. And this, I made this out, I used it from last year, but also just a couple things that we need to just make sure as producers who are also watching this, not just for dream catchers, producers may be watching it too. We are responsible, especially in the SEC, for replay reviews. So we just need a couple little notes here. Y'all can, as you look at this back, you can fast forward and rewind this, but just a couple little notes for producers as these things go along. Couple other little things. We're adding guns, which we radar guns from last year. We started them last year. Just a couple little notes right there that I just wanted to include on this. And just a couple other things for directors and producers. Make sure your TD can zoom because we are replay review. Make sure there is a lift for the bottom line. Little things like that that people at home cannot see. If there's a bang bang play at first base, looks great in the control room. But if the camera operator shoots a little bit too tight, people at home can't see it because of the bottom line. So just make sure there's a little lift there. All right, and then here are the baseball positions, same as they are in softball generally. I will show you clips coming up that we did not have a high first at one venue because it was not possible, so we had high third, and that high third had the same responsibilities as high first. You'll see it in some clips coming up. Every venue is not the exact same as Jeff said earlier, but they are very similar. But this is basic standard base 5 camera baseball coverage. I won't spend a lot of time on these. They're basically the same thing that Jeff had earlier for softball. As I said, we call this the L machine. This is going to vary per producer. Some producers are going to call them other things. This one we called L because it's camera 1 and mainly it shoots left-handed batters. All right, and as I said, you can go back and pause these and look at them, and we'll send this the PowerPoint out to you so you can look at them again. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these because the coverage is basically pretty much the same. I just kind of want to get to the clips. All right, I'll just whip through these quickly. One of the biggest differences, I'll go back to the camera 3, as Jeff said earlier, camera 3 has a pickoff when there are runners on first base for baseball, unlike for softball. Now, one of the things that we have done to take advantage of this in our Remy's is with the delay. I'll have my camera, if they throw to first base, I have my camera operator say pick, and because of the delay, and I know the pick is coming, so it helped us out a little bit in that aspect. There's camera 4, same thing. One other thing that I will do with camera 4 in baseball with my games is if the ball is not hit up the middle, I will not have camera 4 follow the ball. I'll have him stay with the pitcher for reactions. And I will show you a couple of clips in your replays that it is priceless having that pitcher staying with the pitcher for reaction shots instead of going with the ball if it's down the left or right field line. Okay? And then there's your camera 5, which will be the R machine and right-handed batters. This is how your tape machines will go, and this could vary every producer. All right, so these are just general tape machine assignments.
Can I interrupt
real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Are there more producers that prefer LR? Should we just make that a constant for all stick and ball sports?
LR, what, B and O is the other?
I would say, to me, yeah, some people like B and O, but if it's B and O, what that means is batter is in B and opposite is in O or whatever.
Okay.
So you're cutting those camp, you're cutting 1 to 5.
Absolutely, as we would in football with the
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
So to me, L and R, like, you know, but yeah, I think some producers.
Yeah.
I feel like, are you LR or not?
Some years.
Because I'm not sure I've seen BO.
I haven't seen BO either,
I
ever.
haven't seen it in
A lot of the old school baseball guys go P and O. I'm an L and R guy. I like
Okay.
L and R.
You like LR? Okay.
Yeah, just because I know when I see if it's a lefty up there, and then I'm going to L for the
I
swing.
feel like on Remy's, that's what it's been. I mean, I haven't been here for every one. but
Trying to-
can't-
I could-
Yeah,
just draw
Remy's,
one.
they've generally been Eleanor.
They have been LR?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll keep it consistent.
Yeah, but this could vary per producer, dream catcher operator, so your producer will have a meeting with you. I know that Gus doesn't like that. I know his main package is disc. So it just depends on your producer. Nothing is set in stone, all right? Couple little points of emphasis, you know, for dream catcher operators, this is incredibly important. You know, we've had this discussion, knowing the game of baseball and softball is probably 80 to 90% of it. Knowing what camera assignments do you have for your machine is incredibly important. So you know, if you've got L&R, you're going to have the swing, and then you're going to be scoring runners. So just knowing what your machines do and what your assignments are is 90% of the battle. All right. And once again, we got to build upon things you can sell. Do not be bashful with your producers. Let them know, hey, look, I have the winning run scoring in L, or I have the error in R. Little things like that, let your producers know. Do not be bashful about those things. Okay? Let me see. That's pretty much it for my PowerPoint here. Now, where would I go, Jeff, for? SCO sent me an email. Can I hit your mail here?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then we'll go over a couple of SCO emails. I just sent it to you. Where is it? There, this is it right here.
Yeah.
So, SCO, we'll go over a couple of these real quick before we go to mine.
All right.
All right.
Big rule change this year, hit by pitch. Seems to have affected games early. So watch this and we'll go over the rule. But
No rule change, hit by pitch. Here we go.
This young man on the mound right there, you can see Elder, he's just allowed 1 run. It was unearned back in that first inning. He's been outstanding, man, and then Ellis, the difference in the game.
Oh, Bryce Elder's been unbelievable. I mean, I like the fact he saved something. He saved a little bit different shape breaking ball for the 3rd time through, but for the most part, he's pounded the zone. He got a little bit of trouble, but he worked his way out of it. He's competed just like you guys said he would, big time on the mound. And look, it's been good stuff. The 1 run LSU got, so another run.
Oh.
Did he lean into that? They're going to award him first base. I thought he put his elbow out to do that. You know, there's the new rule now is it can be called it's called a strike if you use the elbow pad to put your arm into it.
You don't have to get out of the weight of it. You cannot try to get hit by it. That makes any sense.
It does.
And I think as an umpire, you got to say, did the ball hit the batter or did the batter hit the ball? You know, and that's like, but it is a reviewable play this year. We'll take a look. That's really, really close. He didn't try to get out of the way with that elbow, just kind of sunk down.
Yeah.
See, he didn't pull it back. He just seemed sink it down right there. That's a tough call.
All you got to do is just turn a little bit towards the inside and you get away with it. That one, you're right.
He just kind of sunk the elbow down, followed the path of the ball.
His
He
elbow
kind
was
of dropped it to it, though.
Kind of sunk it down.
He didn't get out of the way, but he saw it was coming and he went like that instead of getting out of the way.
If he would freeze and it would have hit him, no matter what.
Right, but he didn't freeze. He lowered that elbow.
He
He
still
didn't.
made a motion.
It's interesting. This is a great call.
By definition of the rule, he moved his arm with the pad on the arm, because they're talking about the pads, moved his arm into position where it would hit the pad.
Yeah.
Now, I think your first move as a hitter, guys, if you both throw me that pitch, I go back to the inside. I roll that way. So I think he did everything he could do to move to get out of the way.
because you got to drop your elbow to kind of roll a little bit. He drops his elbow. And it's, you know, for me, it's one of these calls by the umpire. He's right either way. Either
That's
way,
so
he calls it
close.
right. I think the field, the call on the field is going to be the important one. You know, is because is there enough evidence to say that he definitely tried to get hit by that ball?
I don't think so. That's my personal opinion. I think he'll be awarded first base. Gotcha. I mean, I'm the one stepping out there. You know, I think he turned into it.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, that's a tough call. Either way.
It's a curveball. He could have got out of the way if he wanted to.
Absolutely. But then the new rule, you don't have to try to get out of the way.
Right. First one of these review.
All right.
Now, that's
All
one
right,
of the
that's
things
it?
we're going to have.
So the important part
Here
is
comes the call right here.
What's the call? He
He's
stays
awarded
at first.
base.
All right. Okay.
So that's gonna happen all year. Last night in my game, 4-3 Texas leading. Is this another one? You can just go ahead and play it.
Okay. I'm just letting it buffer.
4-3 game, ninth inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes on the hitter. Hit by pitch. They said he leaned into it. 3rd strike, last out of the game was a reviewed umpire.
Did he?
Call that? No, he didn't. They should have been on first base.
They reviewed it.
They reviewed it. Yep.
All right, we'll take a look at this one. It's another big rule change, obviously.
So now to try to close it out for the Tigers. McCann steps in. First pitch misses upstairs for ball 1. 25, 26, and 27 are hard outs to get. When you're trying to salvage a game in a series, Peterson had given that job here. The 1-1. Breakable. Did that hit him? Yes, it did. Peterson doesn't think so.
Yeah, what's strange about that is the umpire didn't call it right away. Watch this. There's no call at all by the umpire right now.
Ooh.
I don't know, guys.
I don't know about that either.
It did. It was just a jersey. Just a little.
There's a jersey move right there. I did not see that Longhorn on that jersey make that little nick back.
The home plate
Are you
umpire.
trying to review this?
Doyle Suter. I think he let the batter in that situation almost talk him into that. And why wouldn't McCann did exactly what I mean? McCann knows. I gotta get on base.
You gotta play the part.
I gotta sell it, and he sold it. And he sold it to the home plate umpire, Doyle Suter, who did not originally make the call.
So you saw the looks. So if we're talking tape
So
here,
there's going to be a base runner here. The hit batter.
you guys think they were slow enough when
It is reviewable, guys.
the machines were and the speed were slow enough going past the jersey? You think it could have been a little slower? You think?
Definitely the little low end zone camera could have been.
The low home?
Low home,
low
yeah.
home. What did I say, end zone? Yeah, low home.
They didn't even review it, by the way, right?
No, they didn't. I don't know. How would you feel about zooming that?
Yeah, you can almost zoom that. True.
Was it not like,
Thank
you can't
you.
review whether or not it hit him, you can review whether or not they tried to get out of the way, right? I don't know.
All right. Anything else on this one,
That
Scott?
is a good question, yeah.
Good to ask Paul.
Anything else, Scott, on this one?
Nope.
Okay. Here's a
Just
couple,
yeah, the
here a couple more right here.
I'm sure there's one in there, but that's all.
All right.
The evening is done for Colby Kubicek, still responsible for the runner on second.
I pause it.
He really was pitching well.
you keep it going. But my point here is for the guys on tape is that every time in a pitching change, we're looking to come out. If you take a break, you're looking to come out and put the font on the pitcher, as you can see. So this is all on tape. Okay, and it's just finding a good tape cue back there, JD.
Mm-hmm.
Just finding the good tape cue, and letting us know how much is in there. We've stayed with it for quite a while, But it's just knowing, you guys knowing every time the pitcher comes out, if we go to break, okay, we're gonna want to come back and font him or talk about him. So you guys got to know that, hey, I got to bank a shot at him.
Okay.
The reason being, he's walking underneath, he's walking into the tunnel almost always.
Yeah, they usually
Right,
leave pretty
right.
quickly.
So when we come back, he's normally not out there anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and just for reference sake, in softball, that very rarely happens. They'll stay in the dugout.
They stay right
or
there.
they may go down to,
Come out of the game either.
the bullpen.
Uh-oh.
It's a cool thing, yeah, John.
Folder, some other replays.
So I put some, you need it? So it's what, college baseball?
That one? Montoni's got to type it, it's on his computer.
All right, so what you got going?
It is ESPN,
Yep,
SEC,
SEC.
college baseball at
I was
gmail.com.
watching the other night on Discovery where it's
The
got
next
the
one
free,
is Scrabble
free
5.
climbing. Have you seen that?
Gmail.
No ropes?
Sky with no ropes.
Oh, no.
The guy that won the
Free solo?
Free solo, yeah.
Oh my
What's the password?
word.
It's like the
Scrabble 5?
Yeah, that's
It's
just
like scary.
Yeah.
Scra-
Capital S.
I couldn't turn it
Scrabble
off,
5.
but I'm also like my stomach was turning.
Yeah.
Scrapple pie?
Scrabble 5.
Scrabble.
The guy was gonna climb that thing.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
stopped. I think he's gonna. I fell
You
asleep.
didn't see the whole thing.
I got it, I think your password may have been
Well, they
wrong.
started like buying a house
So
and
it-
stuff. I don't care about
So
that.
it's
Scrabble?
Scrabble. Yes.
Here you go, Mark.
E-
That's me standing at
SPN,
the base of where he
SEC,
started.
College
So I
baseball.
hiked up
Did you
there.
free solo?
No. To the trail.
I'm free soloing right now.
All right.
Both feet on the ground.
ESPN, SEC, college baseball at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And it's
SCRABBLE?
SCR.
I think capital S for
BB.
Scrabble.
I got that. Just 5.
Yeah.
Hit the little I so you can see what the password is. See on the right? Make sure it's right.
recording?
Scrabble 5.
All right,
Edit this
okay.
part out.
They're not edited all. Cut it up.
All right, that's not
There
what,
it
oh, there it
goes.
is.
There it is.
Okay, good,
You got it.
good, good, good.
Edit this part out.
So which one of these, Sco, do you want?
We can click on whatever.
All right.
DP, if you want, you can go to strikeout was easy. Pretty straightforward here. Just finding the good cue point. What I like about it too, what you guys do a good job of, and this is a low home, but you know, if whatever we're shooting it with, and we're shooting it with a 1 or 5, you know, the umpire here.
All right,
Little, but you don't want to cut them off.
Mm-hmm.
Same deal. Just say stay for the punch out.
Mhm.
And you're staying for it.
double play?
Yep. The rule with the double play, the glove has to move with the ball and the glove. So it's not necessarily just seeing the ball that split second entering the glove. So see if this was slow enough with the play at first base.
Mouse is very sensitive here.
Late cut.
To the left side.
Is this last
Hold
one?
it up.
Yeah.
Starts the double play. So after an error, 5.
Nice outfield cam they have at LHN.
They'll get you all day long if you keep trying to pull that change up. That's the way.
Easy.
You roll over. That's close to there first. And bang. Looks like Himmler did indeed beat that throw.
Nice.
All right. Easy enough. Straightforward. Good
Yeah.
speed. You can tell.
Where's it going?
To the left side.
All right, next. Which one you want? You just let me
Yeah,
know.
camera 3 replay.
Okay.
This is a very simple, quick one, but it's line drive to first base. You know, not too fat, not too.
Well hit, but there is
Double play.
Machinsky
Yeah.
doubling up.
Is it worth doing maybe full
Over
speed
first
here?
base. So a strikeout and then a double play. And we got no scores to go to the bottom of the second. DJ Petruski made the play.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
Good cue point.
Yeah.
All about cue points. Easy, JD.
Yeah, easy enough.
Good.
Anything else go?
I think girl speed may have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gotta remember that's a lock off.
That's a walk-off.
Run out of there quick.
Yeah, especially.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Click on that tally play.
Oh,
Next one up. Yeah, I'm not sure.
You ready?
This is a school production, so I haven't seen it in its entirety yet, but.
Here it is. Runners go. This one's hit on the right side. Tally diving. He's got it. Through zone and first one Tally.
Wow.
LJ Tally saves a couple of runs to get the Dogs out of the inning. Also preserves a shutout there. What a terrific play by Tally. Great stretch by Sullivan. You know, David, another part of that play with Tally, this outfield grass is so slick. He was able to get his feet set without him sliding out from under it. Oh boy, what a play.
BP, you need the pitch there? Not sure why they. Was that a replay wipe or was that a
Here
rollout?
it is. Runners go, and this one's hit on the right side.
But
Tally
nonetheless,
he's got it. Through zone and first one Tally.
So in a perfect world there, we would have gone to probably camera 3 instead of back to 2.
Yep. We'll look at it again here in the small box.
And if that's right up the middle, you could, camera 4 may have it right at you.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice play though.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Quarter mine, Mr. Montoni.
On the desktop, there's a
On the
folder.
desktop.
Yeah.
Right here.
No.
You
Keep
open
going on.
it.
I think I named it.
Training clips.
Yeah. Look.
You find it.
It's in a folder here. My fault.
It's okay.
There you go.
All right. Watch this one here, and this is a guy, something for the producers to watch here. Check this out. Tell me what you think about this.
Now ball to third. And drops by the third baseman. Josh Anthony got to it in time. I think he was eyeballing second, thinking about turning two, and that one comes out of his hand.
Maybe a little distracted by McGovern running just behind him
No.
as well. Campbell gets jammed pretty well. It's almost a tailor-made double play. Yeah, absolutely. Just missed the exchange right there. I don't think McGovern was the reason for it at all. Just a bobble.
Now that cue point was good on the camera 1. Camera question, producers. Did we need to go to camera 4 for the pitch? So the question that I have for producers is, if you hear that coming, would you like Dreamcatcher to call you off of the pitch and say you don't want him to call you off?
No, the only time I want him to call me off is when it's no good.
Okay.
If I'm going to that, then I want it for some reason, and to play devil's advocate with Billy, I may want that pitch.
Okay.
Yeah, jam job.
Fair enough.
We showed one last night where it was the opposite. So it was right off the end of the dude's bat. I thought it was going to be a base hit, but it hit right off the end of the dude's bat. Barely made it to shortstop. Actually, shortstop started back and then came in.
So then you just got to figure, because they did that wasn't, I mean, it looked like they were just
Doing it to
cutting
do it.
together
Yeah, it
a
looked like
sequence. I mean, that was a bad replay sequence. But
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. If you're going to show that camera 4 look, then show the play too.
Okay.
Showed a little bit. I would go. It seemed like it was fast.
If there's any question as Dreamcatchers, I definitely influence all of us to sell what we think is better. Hey, camera 1 has the best look at it, and then as you said, it's up to you as the producer to say, yay,
Yeah.
yay. I still want to see 4, etc.
Yeah.
All right, this was interesting, and this will show you some great reactions from camera 4 here at the end. This was a big play at a super regional a couple years ago, I think last year.
Scoring position last inning, couldn't score. They've got Rasmussen at first, and now it does get away from the first baseman. Clemens takes the chase. It'll be Boswell who gets there first. The throw to third. Out. Boswell saves the day again for Texas.
Here's my thing, okay? What you wanted was to have a runner on second base with 1 out. That's the point of the sacrifice bunt, okay? You just got that.
Awful.
You just got that. And turn around looking the whole way.
Awful.
Rasmussen doesn't run great. He's out by 3 steps. What you wanted, you had. You had him.
I want to pause this really quick. Very good for this operator slowing it down at the end for the tag. Notice they just slowed it down just a little bit at the end for the tag. It's a little subtlety. It's not a big deal, but watch that. It's very nice how they slow it down here at the end.
That's the point of the sacrifice bunt, okay? You just got that. You just got that. And turn around looking the whole way.
See how it goes slow down just a little bit there?
Rasmussen doesn't run great. He's out by 3 steps. What you wanted, you had. You had him stand.
And then just great reaction from the pitcher right there. Obviously, Dreamcatcher selling got pitcher reaction. So just good stuff, I think, all the way around in that situation. People just good cue points and everything else. Now, just to show you in this game, that was an extra innings. Where is it? Roll out. Where is it? Third base error. Oh, dude, I wonder if we even have it. Anyway, that was good. We'll keep going. This is another example of just having the feel of the game and slowing down the replay when it's needed. Just a swinging strike. It's not. It seems like might not be a big deal. But watch how they slow this down right at the break. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's a little subtlety, but that's just knowing the game. I like it when that ball breaks like that. You see it, and then when you watch it in the replay, you go, "Oh, that broke more than I thought that it broke." Just not a huge deal, but just a little subtlety right there. Here's another bang bang play at first, to where the cue points were good on it.
Thanks for coming.
Up the line.
Tough play we're watching.
It's going to be a tough play. Again? Yes. McCacken steps in the bag ahead of Clemens for out number 1.
It's one of the toughest plays on the mound to make. Because your line has to be directly towards first base. If you go deep or if you go shallow and have to tilt back and try to get to the bag, there's not enough time to beat the base runner. The line has to be straight there. If you can make the play, you're the only guy that has a chance to touch first base. If you can't get there, you hope your first baseman bails out. But
anyway, just now, as y'all saw in that game, that was a high third, not a high first, but the cue point was really, really good. And it was just cued very, very well, and obviously someone's communicating, hey, I got it on whatever machine it was. This is another great replay here of pretty good cue points.
Jackson at second, Tankus at first, 1 out. Back up the middle, and back at the third. Did they get him? You bet they did. What a play by Brett Boswell. And Hamilton was able to snare it for the first out at second.
this might just get you on TV a few more times tonight. Ground ball off the middle, off the bat. Looks like it might be an RBI single. Brett Boswell says no thanks. Flips it up
Now-
in the air. Hamilton grabs it.
Now that last look right there was probably a little bit too tight.
A little pump fake on the throw to first just to see if Dan.
Okay, watch that high third angle. probably cued just a little bit too tight.
Looks like it might be an RBI single. Brett Boswell says no.
Right there, see?
Up in the air. Hamilton grabs it, keeps that right foot on the ground, and watch the presence of mind. It didn't work. Put a little pump fake on the throw to first just to see if Daniel Jackson goes too far off at third
All right.
base. Well,
Why they need 2 and 4 there?
Why did we what?
I wonder why 2 and 4? Why?
Right.
Why not just take the first look from 4, and then your second look's from high third?
I agree. Montoni, can you load a couple? There should be a couple of more on there, I thought. Yeah, because you had a walk-off. Remember, we had a home run sequence, and then we. Yeah. Now, yeah. Just see if we got. There should be 2 more on there.
Yeah, Scotty too. I mean, we just saw that.
No.
It's not
That's
like
all
they
it was
ran it
under,
so slow
Jonesy, right there.
Okay.
That you could
All right.
Right.
All right. Thanks.
feel it.
We're
in
good.
the batter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
feel
4
like
was a
we
good
missed
look
one.
there.
We're missing
I
2.
thought 4 maybe a little
That we saw
slower just
yesterday,
to
right?
see.
Yeah, we're missing 2. It's okay.
I'll go
Yeah.
All right, here I got it, Jeff.
Hey, Jonesy, on that one, I thought camera 4 maybe a little slower. Just
Yes, a
to
little
see
bit
the
slower on
flow.
camera 4. Correct. We'll watch it again. Watch the glove flip here. Watch camera 4. The center field camera, the last look.
Jackson at second, Tankus at first, 1 out. Back up the middle, and backhand, the third again. You bet they did. What a play by Brett Boswell. And Hamilton was able to snare it for the first out at second.
this might just get you on TV a few more times tonight. Ground ball up the middle off the bat. Looks like it might be an RBI single. Brett Boswell says no thanks. Flips it up in the air. Hamilton grabs it, keeps that right foot on the ground, and watch the presence of mind. It didn't work. Put a little pump fake on the throw.
See, maybe a little bit slower there.
If Daniel Jackson goes too far
All right.
off the third
Any chance you don't
base,
cut the 2 there? Stay on 4?
Yeah, there is a chance I don't cut the 2. Absolutely. There's certainly that chance. Little rollout sequence here for a strikeout. Like I said, these things, they seem simple, they just don't happen. I mean, these take a little bit of practice to do, but once we practice them, they look good.
Hawks go through. Darryl McCracken, the one bomber for the Beach, walking off the mound after a clean first inning where Texas goes down 1-2-3.
couple of sliders for the first 2 strikes, and just dots a fastball on the outside part. McCacken comfortable early.
Punch
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, nothing, earth-shattering there, but look pretty good. Let's see this right here. Texas third base error.
Appreciative. Wrapped to the third base side. And it's going to roll past the third baseman Ryan Reynolds into the corner. Trying for second as Jackson will get in there sliding. Reynolds couldn't slow it down enough to keep Jackson off second base with 1 out here in the first.
The top spin ground ball that eats Reynolds up at third base, and understandably too, this is not an easy play. He's playing deep. Has to go backhand side.
Good cue point there from low third and then high third.
Just one shot at that. You get no glove on it, Jackson.
Again, I'm not sure why you needed 2 to start.
Right, I agree. Yeah, that's
I feel like there's a lot of that. We just fall into like, all right, 2 or 4 to start.
right. I agree. And then this is last year. Now,
I'm a big fan of 4 to start. Just to see how the pitch dictated things.
But I'm saying if it's say on the dropped pop up we saw earlier
Okay,
or something.
yeah.
I'm saying on errors. I'm not saying in general. I just mean when you're really looking at a specific point.
Now, this was a super regional final last year. Just to let you know the situation, since North Carolina's up by 2 runs, and we at this point it looks like they're going to win the game. So my camera 1 operator, my camera 1 was actually locked down at home plate. No one was running it because my camera 1 had the handheld camera, and I remember the operator told us to go to the camera 1 look anyway at the end when. And you'll see why. Watch the catcher's reaction after this ball is hit, because it looks like it's a home run.
Now you know Wilson, the Atlantic Sun Player of the Year. Fly ball in the deep center. Riley going back at the track. He reaches up, and look out, Omaha. Here comes Carolina.
showed for it, and the Heels don't care. Back in the College World Series for the first time since 2013.
What a great run for North Carolina. Now, their Summit Super Regional win in a row for Mike Fox and the job he's done here in North Carolina over his 20 years. But how about Brooks Wilson? Bases loaded last night and hits a missile.
Now look at the catcher.
It's a hanger out over the plate.
See, the camera didn't move. They thought it was out.
That's a long way out to center, and 2 days in a row, Brooks Wilson has squared it up, and nothing to show for it for the Hatters.
And Mark Romano thought it was gone.
Yeah, they both thought it was gone. So just a good replay sequence there by Dreamcatcher, just communicating at what angles that they had, and you know, just a pretty good overall sequence right there because, you know, the game was on the line and it looked like it was out. That's all I've got.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
What's your thoughts, philosophy on pitch sequence? Like, when you want them to put them together, is there a certain count, like number that you say they start?
You gotta start at the beginning, and then just gotta feel it. And it's just gotta be key. Now, if it's one pitch, you just blow it off. 2 pitches, maybe you blow it off. But yeah, you start. I gotta know that ahead of time.
Yeah, I was gonna say-
Sometimes the guys will pop in and say, "Hey, I'll do a pitch sequence here." But yeah, that's a big feel thing.
I was gonna say, from my experience, you guys as producers generally come in with an idea of whom you might want to pitch sequence, as opposed to catching us 3 pitches in, which is possible, just difficult to go back and play along with the game at the same time, right? Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, fortunately, they generally come in with an idea, and then we know that batter comes up, you just start clipping and packaging, that type of thing. So it helps us a lot.
Yep.
I hope this helped. That's all I've got. Anything, Murph? Sco?
We just gotta make sure we know the rules. Know, you know, when to slow it down. And I think that's one of the big things for all sports across the board. I don't know how much it is in basketball, but you know, football when a foot it's in or out, and first base when a play is close. You know, you get good freeze points. Last night I was looking for one, didn't have it. Shortstop lifted his head up on a ground ball, bobbled it. Was trying to flip it to second early. So, like that play, the Auburn-Georgia play you showed before, you know, some of the really good guys will know it well enough, freeze, and you can see his head up, you know, the ball going out of his glove. So there's always ways to get better and better at things, and I think knowing, you know, what to look for going in makes you guys' job a lot easier. So, and then knowing trends and recognizing trends as you get going. There's already been 5 ground balls. All right, let's, you know, ground ball package, ball is pounding. You said he had a good sinker coming in, and he's got a lot of ground balls early. So things like that are important and make it an easy night. Good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.